What's up, everybody? Good day to you. Today is gonna be a special treat because today is Trey's birthday. So I'm in the car. I'm about to go to the store to just grab some fresh fruits and vegetables so I can make him breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Hopefully he's gonna be really excited and really happy for dinner or whatever that I'm gonna cook for him today. Alrighty, everybody, we just got home. I am starting a little fruit medley here. I've got some dark cherries that I'm actually going to make sort of a sauce with. I've got some mangoes, some kiwis. I'm going to make a beautiful plate for Trey right now. Can't wait. To make this cherry sauce, I'm going to just use our frozen cherries. I'm going to boil them in a little saucepan here. Initially, I was going to sweeten this up with a little bit of agave or something like that, but I decided I'm not going to. I'm going to keep that natural sweetness, so I have a little bit of water and some cherries. I'm going to start boiling that. Next, I'm going to prepare our kiwis and all of our fruit. So I'm just going to de-skin our kiwis. Did you know you could actually eat the kiwi skin? It is furry and I don't personally like it, but you know, if you like to eat furry fruit, then by all means go do that. It's good fiber anyway, but yeah, you can definitely eat the kiwi skins. For those of you who don't know, my husband has a condition called dysautonomia, and we've been really focusing on, plant-based foods, of course, and of course, food combinations. Now, we've talked about this in our lengthy video, the autoimmune issue video. If you want to check that out, I will have that linked in the description. But basically, there are certain fruits and vegetables that do go together and certain fruits and vegetables that do not go together. For example, green leafy vegetables, they are the middlemen and they go with everything. So they can go with starches or they could go with proteins. But the starches and the proteins do not go together. Same thing with the fruits. We have a group called sweet fruits, we have a group called subcitrus fruits, and we have a group called citrus fruits. So we are keeping to that today, and that's what we're doing today. So if you see or if you hear me talk about food combinations, that's what I'm talking about. Some fruits just don't go together. So I've got some mangoes, some kiwis, some cherries. These are all subcitrus fruits. Mangoes could be a little bit riper, but that's okay. I'm gonna make sort of a smoothie bowl with some pineapple smoothie on the bottom. Then I'm gonna put all of our fruits on the top, and then the cherries, which I'm working on in the background. The cherries have definitely, I added some water to this and cooked down the cherries a little bit, and now it is nice and syrupy. This is going to be a sauce, and I'm going to keep some of these little big, pieces of cherries just like that, just for some texture. I've got some pineapples here going in. Now you could sweeten this with anything. We're going to go with honey because we support a local beekeeper, and so we get the honey in bulk. So I like to just sweeten it with honey, but you could do like agave if you want. Our pineapple ice cream or smoothie bowl is perfect. It is nice and thick. I like to keep it kind of thick like this because I know it's going to melt a little bit. And with a spoon, I'm going to try to spread it out as nice as possible before I lay out all of the fruits on top.
Trey is working from home at the moment, so I have the pleasure of just serving him breakfast right at his desk at home.
Ice cream.
Kinda.
It's cold.
It's cold. Okay. Is it good? All right. Breakfast down. Alrighty, it is lunchtime.
So sorry about the audio, but we're going to do a voiceover. I am planning to do a zoodle for Trey's lunch today. So we are going to zoodleize or zootify some zucchini noodles. If you don't know what that is, it's basically just zucchinis that are spiralized in this zoodler into nice thin zoodle noodles. Essentially, you just put the zoodle inside. There's some blades on the end, and then you're just going to slowly spiral and turn this handle to make these beautiful ribbons of zucchini noodles. It is so easy and it really is delicious. If you're in the market for a zoodler, I will have a link in the description box so you can check it out yourself. First things first, I'm going to cut the ends off of our zucchinis and peel it. I am going to set up our machine so it's going to kind of suction on the table that you're using so it makes it nice and stable. I'm going to put our zucchini into the middle of it, clamp it down, and I'm going to start turning this handle. So easy and so simple. You can see that the zoodles slowly start to form. It's basically cutting ribbons of noodles, and there are different types of blades, different thicknesses, so it's really fun just to experiment. Today I'm using the 3mm blade, I believe, so it makes it kind of like a spaghetti type of noodle. Next up, we're going to make a very simple tomato sauce. So I have some just red tomatoes here that's going into our blender. I've already cut it in half just to help the blender a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of water just to start and help it become sort of a crushed tomato-y consistency, and it is time to blend. I've chopped up some onions and some garlic, and I'm going to saute it with a little bit of hemp seed oil in here. For this sauce, I definitely wanted some onions and garlic flavor, but I don't want it to be too strong, so I'm sauteing it down in some hemp oil. Remember the fresh sage that I purchased at the store? This is the time to use it. So I'm just going to start tearing some of the sage leaves, and I'm going to put it directly in the onions and garlic and the oil. Of course, we're going to season it with some salt, and I just cook this down for about maybe 2-3 minutes or so, not too long, just until the onions and garlic releases its flavor and the onions are nice and translucent. Into our tomatoes and our blender, I'm going to add a little bit of hemp seeds just for some amino acids and protein, and it actually makes the sauce nice and creamy and delicious. I'm adding about half of this onion, sage, garlic mixture, and I'm going to blend it into the sauce. Doing a quick taste test for salt needed, or whatever flavors that I'm going for. I'm going to add a little bit of dried basil because I have it. You can also use some Italian seasoning or some dried oregano or fresh herbs if you have as well. Put that back on the blender and blend it for a little bit more until all the flavors are melding together. The sauce is ready, the zoodles are ready, and I have a huge bowl here that I'm going to mix everything in. I decided I wanted to add a little bit of a kick to this, add some spice, so I've got some chipotle powder that is going in. I also have this linked in the description if you are looking for a spicy, smoky chipotle powder or seasoning. It is delicious. Now in goes the rest of our onions and garlic and sage leaves going in there. And don't forget, I actually chopped up some of the leftover little pieces of zucchini ends. I didn't waste that, of course. I'm just going to put that all in there just for some extra little texture. After making this plate really nice and pretty, I am going to drizzle it with a little bit of lime juice just for a little touch of zing. And voila, lunch is done. Wouldn't you love to dig into this? It's beautiful.
Is it good? Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
I haven't made zoodles in a while, so this was definitely a treat for Trey, and especially the textures of noodles. It definitely is a change for him for his birthday, and he said that he wanted this as a new staple in his diet or his routine every single week. So it must have been good. So happy birthday, baby. I'm glad that you love this.
Alrighty, it is dinner time, everybody. So I am making Trey's favorite potato. So I've got some red potatoes here. I've got a pot of boiling water in the background. I'm just cutting these in half, and then I'm going to boil them so we can make some crispy potatoes. I honestly thought that I had more potatoes, but I only have like 5 potatoes. So that's what we're gonna work with. I'm so sorry, baby, but you only have this much. The key to a very, very crispy potato is to boil the potatoes first, and then we're gonna oven roast it. We're not gonna fry it or anything. This is gonna be oven roasted, crispy potatoes. I have a full video of this if you guys want to check out. I will have it linked in the description, but these are Trey's favorite potatoes. These are one of ours actually because they're just so good.
Once the potatoes are nice and fork tender, I'm just testing it with my fork right now. It is nice and perfect and fluffy and soft. I'm going to lay them out on a baking sheet like this. I'm going to drizzle it with a little bit of hemp seed oil. You can definitely use like grapeseed oil, which is another great alternative, and some salt. I'm going to massage this with my hands, making sure every inch of this potato is nicely seasoned with the oil and the salt. It is important that you use enough oil because the oil does crisp up the potato. I'm also going to use a measuring cup to smash it and make it nice and thin. This is how you're going to achieve that delicious crispy little bits and pieces on the sides, and just make sure that you don't smush it too hard. You just want to make sure that it's smushed nice and thin. I'm going to drizzle the top with a little bit more of that hemp seed oil, and then I have an oven already preheated to 425 degrees convection, and I'm going to roast this for anywhere between 35 to 45 minutes. I am now preparing some mains and some sides. So I planned on doing some greens and a cauliflower steak. I've chopped up some onions and garlic on the side, and I am going to break apart this cauliflower, maybe give the cauliflower a little taste because this is my favorite vegetable to eat raw. So I'm going to try to cut it and keep some bigger pieces of this cauliflower to make a steak. In my pot here, I'm going to start by sauteing a little bit of onions and garlic in some hemp seed oil to prepare for our greens.
I have some freshly harvested chard, and these are gorgeous. I'm going to braise them or like cook them in some onions and garlic. Look how many there are. They're so cool. These are homegrown. We're so proud, and they look beautiful and delicious. Now I'm going to chop it up really quick. I'm going to add it into my pot and get it started.
To prepare for our cauliflower steak, I wanted to kind of marinate it and make sure that all the seasonings are coating the cauliflower. So I coated it with a little bit of hemp seed oil. I'm also going to add some paprika on it. If we have some onion powder, I would have used some onion powder, garlic powder, anything that you could find. I am also using a little bit of basil seasoning as well, just some dried basil. Salt it, of course, and as you can see, I'm trying to turn the cauliflower. I want to make sure every inch of this cauliflower is coated in seasoning. In my cast iron skillet, I am going to preheat it a little bit, maybe medium heat, medium high heat. I drizzled a little bit of that hemp seed oil, make sure that the oil is spread nicely. And I'm going to start laying our cauliflower on the sides as much as possible to make all that surface area get some nice char. In our neighboring pot, I'm going to start tearing some of our Swiss chard. Now, if you had some collard greens, you could definitely use that collard greens. We planted some, but they didn't come up this season, but these work just as well, and they turned out delicious as well. I'm working on both of these side by side. I want to make sure that the cauliflower is nice and charred, but not burnt. I definitely love that char flavor, so we're just flipping the cauliflower on each side just to make sure that everything is nice and charred. To season our chard, I added some smoked paprika and a little bit of water just to make sure nothing is burning. I've also got a little bit of that spicy chipotle seasoning inside, and of course some salt. Adding the water will definitely help steam up the Swiss chard, breaking down some of the fibers and just cooking it down nicely. To my cauliflower, I'm also going to add some water because I want to make sure that the whole cauliflower head is nice and cooked all the way through. So we're going to add some water and then cover it to steam a little bit. For a little extra touch of spice or heat, I'm going to add a touch of chili flakes just to oomph the flavor up a little bit. Everything at this point is smelling delicious and it's looking good. As you can see, the water cooked out of the cauliflower pan and it's kept the cauliflower nice and charry and caramelized. The water has been evaporated already, so it's perfect. All of our components are ready, so we are ready to plate. And to add that final touch, we're going to brighten everything up with a little drizzle of fresh lime juice. And voila, a beautiful plate for a beautiful person, my husband. Poor Trey, he was over here hobbling over, but as soon as he saw the plate, he was like, ooh, that looked good.
What you think? It's good.
Those greens?
Homegrown.
Yeah, that's off the chain. Yeah, that's good. What'd you do different?
What? The potatoes?
See?
Is it nasty?
No, you just seasoned. The last couple times you didn't season well.
This one is too salty?
No, you seasoned it well. Why so little?
Because that's all the red potatoes I had. I thought I had more. I knew you were going to think that too.
Like, what happened? We got a shortage on potatoes?
Sorry. We don't have enough time for dessert today, but that's okay. We'll probably make it for breakfast tomorrow. Maybe we'll show you a little bit. Well, did you have a good birthday so far?
Everything was wonderful.
Good job. I hope that you enjoyed everything today. Thank you guys so much for spending time with us. Let Trey enjoy his birthday dinner. Subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye, everyone.
What I planned for dessert last night was some grilled peaches and nectarines. So today I'm going to prepare that for Trey's breakfast. I'm going to slice up some of our peaches and our nectarines here. I have a stovetop grill here, which I just kind of brushed a little bit with some hemp seed oil just to prevent sticking. And I started to lay all of our nectarines and peaches on the flat side down so that we can get as much a char as possible on each side. I love those grill marks, and they make it so nice and juicy and caramelized. And after about a couple of minutes on each side, it is nice and done. We're going to plate this up very simply just by adding it onto a nice plate. I'm gonna heap it up and give him a generous amount. We're gonna sprinkle a little bit of cinnamon on top, and we're gonna drizzle it with some agave syrup just for added sweetness. And voila, breakfast was done, and Trey loved this. Alrighty, that is it. We will see you on the next video. Bye, everybody.